Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is T. I almost said my name is
the
TNT Podcast.
Welcome back to Timpedia.
My name is
Timpedia
Timpedia.
Podcast.
Welcome back to the TNT Podcast, episode 172.
No. It's the Timpedia Podcast. You know, I see how it is.
Okay. I accept.
See how it is. Yeah, I'll bet. All right, peace.
That is the YouTube channel name.
But we're back. It's been an extra week. Who could have predicted that we would skip an extra week in our every other week schedule like we've done most of the year?
I mean, it was my fault last week, so.
Yeah, well, it ended up working out. I think, whatever. We all ended up being busy. We all got stuff to do. Let's just jump right into it because, boy, this one's funny. This is the.
I'll say
funny,
I could have
funny...
actually segued into what I was doing.
What?
Why I took off viewers, listeners, because Phantom Liberty came out last week.
Oh.
Yeah. That was the good seg. See, that was
sure
because I said literally. I think it was that Sunday. You guys were like, "Oh, podcast," and then the Freedom was like, "Oh yeah, podcast Tuesday." I was like, no, we ain't doing podcast Tuesday. And they're like, but why though? I was like, Phantom Liberty's coming out Tuesday, and you guys were like, "Oh,
understandable. Have a nice day."
So how is it then, Tyler?
Was it worth it?
I'll be real. I didn't get a chance to touch it yet.
Oh my god.
Oh, all right. Listen. This is what happened. I booted it up because I was like, yo, I'm starting fresh because listeners, I haven't touched this game. My save said the last version I had was 1.2. Which was a long time ago. We're talking like since the game came out. Like I literally haven't played the game since it came out.
And 2.0 is supposed to be like bigger than almost anything else, right?
Yeah, it's like a brand new game. Like there's so many, like it's crazy. Like they reworked the tree, like the skill trees, the weapons, like literally everything.
Good thing a month ago I had finally decided to start playing this game, and then immediately Tyler was like, Tim,
right? Phantom Liberty
and 2.0 are coming out soon. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll put this back on the shelf 5 minutes after I finally started playing it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool though. Like they added a lot of like really cool shit. They also added more of like they made it more like what the tabletop game was supposed to be. In terms of like. So I think they did it in more of a response to the show, though. Funny enough, because Edge Runners was like a hit, and it was so popular that I think they added more shit from the show into the game. But now they have like a whole meter now where it's if you put too much augments on yourself, you'll go like
Cyber Psycho. What?
They also have like references to the show. Like one of them's literally just straight up called David. Like one of them's called Edge Runner. Like,
wow,
you can get like stuff to like increase your threshold, so you don't have to like go into cyberpsychosis. The more like shit you put on yourself,
it's pretty lame.
I guess
you should just go Cyber Psycho. That's the
going Cyber Psycho doesn't do anything. Like it doesn't take away any of your free agency though.
Mess up your UI.
Yeah, it kind of does that. Like you start hearing voices and shit. Like,
oh, that's lame. It should have like you just wake up the next day and you just have blood on your hands and you have no idea where you were.
That would be funny if you went to sleep. Yeah, right. You went to sleep and you like wake. See, I think that'd be kind of funny, right? Like if you did like some random stuff, like you just say something and someone gets aggressive with you, or like that would be a good idea. You fall asleep, you wake up like somewhere you weren't supposed to be, right? Maybe it might not have to be like violent necessarily, but like you like maybe lose a sense of self. And it like that'd be kind of interesting. But nothing that would truly inhibit the player's experience. I think they could work to like their advantage. But that's neither here nor there. It's pretty cool though. I do think it's funny though, the premise of the story, at least the start of it, is basically just escape from New York. the president's plane goes down in a very hostile city, and you have to go save them.
Oh, so you leave the city?
No, it's in the city.
Oh.
I mean, depends on people's outlook. Night City can be a prison city in itself, like New York. Maybe. I don't know. Have you seen Escape from New York, Tim? You know what I'm talking about?
A long time
ago. Am I
ago.
making this reference and no one
you're
knows
making
what
this
I'm
reference for
talking
no
about?
one.
I mean, I've taken NJ Transit before. I know what it's like to escape from New York.
I've taken NJ Transit. Damn. So actually, I'll
Hey,
even
the
say
trains
this.
are fine.
It's actually funny because this kind of plays all into my whole like, this just wants to be because it wants to be a spy thriller, right? And because that's what it is. That's what all the promotion's about. It's like, oh, Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, spy thriller, and I'm like, man, very audacity of saying this, having
Very
wanting to be
audacious.
a spy thriller, yeah, trying to be a spy thriller, and it having the same title as two different Metal Gear Solid titles.
That's super true. That's funny.
And not only that, like having the same premise as the movie that has the character that inspired Solid Snake.
That's
Do you
funny.
get it?
No, it's true.
Self-referential here.
Oh, so in the movie, the guy's name is called Snake Plissken, and he's like known for being like a super stealthy badass. Like, look, he's played by Kurt Russell.
That part I do know. I know
Yeah,
the look. He has the eye. He even has the eye patch.
Yeah, you look at the character; it's sort of just Big Boss.
It's just Big Boss, yeah.
But American.
Yeah, and it's all because Hideo Kojima is a big fucking loser that likes movies and shit. Like, it's crazy. I love Hideo Kojima. He's like such a big loser, and I love it.
There's a reason he tried to turn video games as a medium into movies for a brief period of time.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you would like it, Tim, but for a minute, you might get a kick out of it. It's not really like a whole, like it's a book, but it's more of like a collection of like essays that he's done and like some like interviews and shit. But like it's literally just essays, like it's a whole book, right? Compiled of just essays and shit about like Hideo Kojima gushing about his favorite movies, books, and like TV shows.
I'm actually curious because I only have like a loose idea of what he legitimately likes.
I mean, if it wasn't apparent to you, he loves American cinema like a lot.
What? No way.
Couldn't have guessed, right? Couldn't have guessed. Nani. Yeah, but actually, I own the book. It's called The Creative Gene. And like if anybody's like into like designing or like any sort of like writing, like being creative and like all that stuff, like I feel like this collection serves as a really good inspiration to you. Like I feel like I wish I kind of had this when I was going through school, because like it was like I feel like it's like a really good like thing to read. Also, like if you really like if you are like a big, like I'm talking like a big fan of his work, it's like a must read, because like he talks about like where all of the like inspiration comes from like for all of his work, like everything from I was gonna say Police Knots, but like I forgot what the thing was before Police Knots he did, all the way up to Death Stranding. And like I always thought it was like pretty cool. But yeah, it's a highly recommend read if you like that. But yeah, that was a huge tangent.
Snatcher, was that the game he did?
Snatcher, yeah, that was like his first like real foray into like game design before he got into like Metal Gear.
Yeah, there was straight up nudity in this game.
Yeah, dude, apparently Snatcher was like crazy.
Pretty intense. There's a screenshot on Wikipedia of just someone with their head blown out and a nipple.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing it, but I was like, yo, because I was thinking about playing it after playing Police Knots, because I liked Police Knots. But I was like, it seems like too dated for me.
At a certain point, I'm just accepting that dated games have a charm, and you just got to go into them knowing they're just going to look like shit. Like I still, like how do I put it? When I showed someone Super Mario Bros. Recently who'd never played like any video games, and like it looks really old. And like that's because it is. This is like the first video game most of us grew up playing.
Yeah, I feel like it depends for me. Like dated could be good or bad. Like I would play Contra. Contra's a fun like pick up and play game. Like or like Kirby Superstar, right? Like a lot of these older games I would play considered dated, but like Police Knots was hard to get through.
Oh yeah, there's some games where it's like if the dated is just how it looks, that's one thing. But if it's clunky because that's how games were at the time, that's when it's kind of rough.
Yeah, yeah. Like if the gameplay is tight, holds up. Like what's it like? I was comparing Kirby games. Speaking of Kirby, right? Well, with my friend Mike, and I'm just like, dude, Kirby 64 was like fun at the time, but I couldn't pick it up and play it now. But like Kirby Dream Land 3 or Nightmare in Dreamland, like gameplay tight. I'd play those games forever.
So I haven't touched Kirby 64 since I tried to get it running on an emulator on my shittiest handheld, but I'm curious, was it just that it was too slow?
It's just too slow. Like that Kirby, for all intents and purposes, plays like Kirby in Smash. Like he's very floaty. It feels like I feel like disconnected to him a lot of the time.
Like controls aren't tight enough with his movement. It feels like he's
the controls aren't tight enough. The concept is cool. Like I love the concept of like, you know, combining powers and shit like that. I love that. Great concept. But like if it were to come down to like gameplay mechanics, like I wouldn't go back to it. I'd just play another Kirby game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phantom Liberty is alright. Michelle likes it so far.
How much has
she's gotten further into it than I have. Because she also started on an existing character. I didn't. I'm choosing to start from the beginning.
Wait, quick question here. What was her impression of Vanilla versus yours? Like, did she like it more or less than you?
What Vanilla?
Cyberpunk. Like when it came out.
Oh! She liked it. She liked it. I think she liked it more than I did. She played through it twice already.
Dang.
Yeah.
You don't do that for games you don't like.
Yeah, I think that was like one of our first conversations actually. Right after talking about Mass Effect, we talked about how much we liked Cyberpunk 2077.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's what she's doing now. I think she went upstairs to play Cyberpunk. And then after she's done playing Cyberpunk, she's going to go back to playing Starfield, beat Starfield, and then start a new character.
Savage.
In 2.0 Cyberpunk, yeah.
She's more of a pro gamer than I am at this point.
For all of us.
I mean, I've been left in the dust a long time ago.
Speaking about getting left in the dust.
Dude, he's about to get fucking left in the dust, bro.
So this one broke like I think the day after we recorded the last episode of the podcast.
Yeah,
I feel like,
basically.
It's every time we record a podcast, within 24 hours, either a company blows up or Sony announces they're doing a state of play.
Or
it's
Nintendo
always one
has
or the
a
other.
direct.
Yeah, it's one of these three things happens Tuesday after we finish recording. But Unity was fun. So I don't know if we want to recap it for everyone. I feel like it's been kind of talked to death here, but long story short, Unity wanted more money. They tried to pull the rug out from under people by changing the terms of using the engine for games that already exist.
Yeah, they basically said, hey, going forward, anybody who uses Unity is going to be charged money for every single time the game is installed on anything. And it's the job of the publisher to make sure that money comes to Unity at the end of the day. So basically, Unity was trying to force Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo to pay them millions of dollars.
Yeah, the weirdest part about this, and this one, like, as someone who works with software license agreements a lot, seeing them say, okay, we're going to charge per install, and then say, well, what do you do about people reinstalling on their own devices? And like, oh, that's fine. You can just, submit something to have that one discredited. And they're like, what do you mean submit? Like, just, you're going to keep track of it? And Unity's like, no. You're going to keep track of it. But you're liable for making sure it's accurate when you submit to us for the refund for the ones we're not going to count. And it's like, excuse me?
Yeah. And you know what? Like, Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would say like that policy is very clearly written up by someone in marketing who just didn't understand how to track this shit and was like, yeah, it'll be fine. Just submit a form.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fine. Don't worry. Just base your whole financial model on this decision.
This shit is so funny because this is the guy running Unity now is the same guy who was running EA when he said, in the heat of the moment, a couple hours into a shooter, people will pay $1 to reload their gun.
Yeah.
If they're out of ammo. This is the same exact guy who is now running Unity, and it's just like, my God.
Which is not what Unity was, because when I was using Unity, it was pretty great. Like, all they were like, yo, if you want to use Unity, all you got, like, if you want to publish something, like, you're just going to have the Unity mark, and, like, that's it, right? And it's like, it's only if you wanted to, like, really publish, it's like, okay, then, like, this is the deal that they had, and it was, like, pretty, like, it was more than fair, I would say. And when they came out with this, I was like, I felt bad because, like, Unity is, like, pretty much the first go-to for, like, indie developers, right? Like, most indie developers, like, it's easy to use. It's not, like, complicated or anything like that. As opposed to, like, Unreal. Because Unreal...
open up.
Yeah.
So I was just going to say, who's having an absolute party right now? The Unreal Engine guys and... Godot, that's the one. I was trying to think of before I said anything. I had never heard of Godot before, and now all I hear is about Godot is the next engine for indies because it's open source and we'll never have this happen to it. So everyone who's at the top end of Unity is going to ditch Unity and go to Unreal, and everyone who's not at the top end of Unity is going to use it for as long as they can, because Unity... So what we didn't get to is Unity ran back a bunch of this, just like with D&D earlier this year. It's like every company is like, how do we shoot ourselves in the foot to try to get more money and make everyone not have faith in us anymore?
Right. And then when it blows up, they quickly roll that shit back thinking that it'll fix everything.
So even though Unity might not have been hit across the board right now, because they also said, I think it's like companies using old agreements or who already have active agreements aren't going to be hit with this, but they are going to roll ahead with some form of this in the future. So of course every company is like, well, time to figure out Godot if you're like a 2-man indie team. Or time to just spend money and go to Epic and get Unreal. Like, there's no... Yeah. Why would you stick with Unity now? You can literally never trust them ever again.
Yeah, I mean, shit, I wouldn't.
So sad, because you're right, because like, it really was the engine that you saw at the beginning of every indie game recently was Unity.
I mean, I still think it was like the tail end of the Wii PS3 era. It felt like every game had it was like Unity, and like there were two other. It was like Havoc. There were a couple other engines where
Havoc.
They all had like the mandatory splash screen. You'd play certain games where like they used as many like low cost engines as they could, and be like, you got to sit through 8 splash screens before the game starts.
Yeah.
You know what? We can keep going. I want to see Game Maker. Cry.
Oh yeah, Game Maker.
I just googled video game dev tool, and I'm just seeing what Wikipedia. Oh, the first. Never mind. The first link is fucking Unreal Engine. I just want to see like what other ones are out there. Sort by release year. There we go. I want to see what. I'm sure id Tech has always been floating around, but no one really uses id Tech outside of id. Source, I feel like has fallen off.
Well, Source 2 is proprietary, so I don't know if anyone.
That's true. It is. You're right. Man, remember Amazon has a proprietary engine. There's Godot. Fox Engine. Fox Engine. That's proprietary, but that's funny.
All right, we're just going through Wikipedia here.
No, I know, but I just want to. Because Freeman, you set something off in my brain that I wanted to see what other like open licenses there were for engines, because I know, like you said, there's definitely other ones, but all the ones I'm seeing are proprietary. Frostbite was proprietary. Rockstar had a propriety. There's Unity, which now says propriety. proprietary.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, yeah, id Tech did have some open engines. Where is Havoc? It's not even on here. That might have just. Oh, you know what? I'm an idiot. That wasn't a game engine. That was a physics engine. That wasn't like the actual building engine. That was for physics. Because I think Havoc was made by Lucas. Didn't they make Havoc for Force?
I should know all these.
All I know is
yeah, Tyler, you're supposed to be the guy who is in the industry.
This is true. I don't remember shit.
Well, regardless, Unity has made sure that that as with D&D, of any major group willing to get into D&D and will now go to Pathfinder, same exact thing is happening with Unity, where no new indie is going to go to Unity by choice. They're going to go to Godot probably.
Sucks to suck, losers.
Open source.
You fucked yourself.
Speaking of which, Tyler, you just transitioned us perfectly.
Yo, talking about open source and fucking yourself. Apparently, Fables.
This is so funny that I revealed this to you.
I didn't know. Apparently, as of the 15th of September, Bill Willingham, the writer and creator of, and apparently he was the sole owner of Fables. And if for people who aren't familiar with Fables, right, it was also adapted into the Wolf Among Us series in the Telltale game. But it was an ongoing, actually it ended, but it was a comic series based on the Big Bad Wolf and a bunch of other like grim fairy tales, and it was published by DC Comics. And it was up until recently that Bill Willingham was like, yeah, no, it's going to be open source now. It's everybody's forever. No take backs. Literally the quote.
No take backs.
No take backs. And I think it's interesting because last year he signed on to DC to revive the comic. So like it's ongoing right now. And it had like a bunch of spin-offs and all this other shit, and like literally in a series of DC just wasn't what it was anymore. He just said fuck it, it's open source now. So anybody has rights to do whatever they want with the Fables IP now. Even you, even Henry has every right to do whatever he wants with the Fables series.
Man, how much does DC have to piss a guy off for him to declare his entire series open source?
It's bad. And you know what? I can tell you it's really bad because, like, I don't know why they would fuck it up, because Fables was one of their, next to Batman, because I don't think anything is selling aside from Batman. I'll tell you this. Fables was so popular that last year, like almost around the same time when they restarted Fables, they did it's really fucking stupid. Like if you read Fables, you would think that this is ridiculous, but well, actually no, I can just say how ridiculous it is. Just imagine was it the Big Bad Wolf solving mysteries with Batman?
What the fuck?
Damn, he did a crossover. They had a crossover between Fables and Batman?
Yes, and Bill Willingham wrote it with somebody. I forgot who it was.
God.
Actually, I think they did it with Tom King, which I thought was even crazier. And I think
Tyler, imagine a year later, the guy who created that series is like, anyone can do whatever they want now.
Yeah, that's wild. Like, and I read some of the article, and like it basically sums up saying that like the people, it's a revolving door at DC. No one's around, and that like, you know, anybody who is worth a damn, they come in and they like to literally. Apparently, this was like almost verbatim what he said in multiple. Like, because I looked up a few articles, and they were all just saying like, you know, from his words, like they want to interpret his contract and how he owned it and how he's supposed to write Fables and like.
Oh, that's right. They were like
agreements.
Yeah, they were trying to like make decisions about Fables without consulting him.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, no, I'm putting the kibosh on that right the fuck now." And I'm like, "Damn."
This is just another bite the hand that feeds story here.
Yeah, man, and I'm just like, dude, and I'll tell you, like, because nothing sells in DC. Like, even my comic book shop, like, he's had a few people leave just because, like, number one, comics just isn't what it is anymore. Like, people are just kind of getting burnt out. But like DC doesn't sell anything. Like if you look at the DC rack,
oh no.
I've mentioned this before, but it's like 80% Batman. And then you have like you had some Fables back because they had been revived, but like that's it.
Ouch.
Yeah, so like
so what does Marvel sell, or is Marvel selling better, or who, like, is
probably
it indie stuff?
I honestly don't know. I think Marvel does sell. Image sells a lot though.
Really?
Image gets away. Yeah, Image gets away with selling a lot of stuff. Boom also made a big impact recently because they started publishing Keanu Reeves Berserker comic, and they started picking up more sales from that.
Didn't you say it wasn't that good?
I read the first like three or so issues, and I didn't think it was good. Oh no, I read the first trade paperback. Yeah, I didn't think it was good. A lot of people like it though, so I'm not gonna, rain on anybody's parade.
Oh no.
But I didn't think it was good.
Oh, Neptune.
Yeah, but I think it's hilarious though, and it sucks because actually I don't even really care now if the story was still going. Like, so the original 150 issues of Fables, like if anybody wants to read it, that is what I think is the official story, and I think it ends. I say it ends at 150. Like the current stuff that was coming out, I don't know if it's going to be coming out anymore, but the current stuff that was coming out was a continuation. It's like okay, but like it's one of those like, dang, you already had a logical end. Like, what's the point of keeping it going, right? Like, it's just really awkward now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. People, I say if anybody wanted to pick up Fables, I think it would be fine. And it has nothing to do, like, it's not going to impact the story because, in my opinion, the story was already told.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the original story, that 150, I remember I got into Fables, and right as I picked up Fables, I'll never forget going to the comic shop in Arizona, and they're like, "Damn, you got into it at like arguably a good or bad time." I was like, "Why is that?" He's like, "Oh, it's 3 issues away from ending." I was like, "Wait, forever?" He's like, "Yup."
I mean, that's good. That means you don't have to worry about waiting around for stuff to finish, like stuff we'll get into later in the podcast.
That's very true. That's very, like, realizing that now, especially like, because, yeah, I guess getting into a lot of stuff, because like, I was so used to like finishing things, like I feel like things finished a lot like back then compared to now. And I realize that now, that I was very grateful to have a story that actually ended. But yeah.
Is the ending to it good?
Oh, I thought it was great actually. It wrapped up so actually I love the way how they did it. So they didn't just end on like issue 150. Bill Willingham and his team, like what happened? They took 3 months off. So they released issue 149. They took 3 months off, but like it wasn't really 3 months off when you consider that the last issue was a trade paperback. Like the entire trade paperback was the last issue. So that was like 50 or so pages. And literally the entire point of that last issue was to tie up any loose ends that could have existed. So like they dedicated like half of what would be like an issue to like certain key characters, and then they like finished it all off. It was really good. This is like one of those, like, if people got into comics, like I would recommend this one. Like if you're always in a fan of like those fairy tales, or like if you like modern fantasy,
Listeners,
like this
if you
is
like
one
Shrek,
of those.
you're gonna love this.
If you like Shrek, you would love it. Absolutely. It's not funny though. There's some parts that are funny, but like it is more of a serious tone. But like, yeah, if you like that kind of shit, like it's good. Like Fables is good. I have no segue into this.
Rebirth.
Oh yeah. So back to State of the Play is 2 days
talk
after
about
our
segues.
podcast.
Talk about segues.
Yeah, talk about segues. So,
oh my!
Yeah, no, that's gonna be the main thing we talk about here. Anyway, the Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth trailer came out the Thursday after we recorded the podcast. I was losing my shit because the trailer looked really good, except for one shot. One shot of the trailer doesn't look good. The rest of it looks phenomenal. We got more confirmation this is basically gonna be an open world-ish game between the story beats. We saw a lot of the different settings we've been waiting to see. We saw the first oh my god, what are they called? Not Omega Weapon.
Oh yeah, the special, the Ruby weapon, and
we saw the weapons. We saw a lot of characters who are going to show up now. But the big thing is everyone was hyped about the bit where the beach for.
Come on, you can't tell me that wasn't the most hype thing about that.
That was good. The fact that they've updated the Chopo Racing UI now, it just straight up looks like a Mario Kart 8 ripoff is phenomenal. But everyone was hyped about what they're going to do about Costa del Sol because they're like, it's the beach scene. Is everyone going to wear swimsuits? What's going to happen? And of course, they show us Cloud on a Segway with his Hawaiian shirt in the most like worst animated thing I've seen. But it's like legitimately half a second of an otherwise phenomenal trailer.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
But the big takeaway from this whole trailer is that it's releasing February of next year, the game. And then I think for anyone out there who's looking for a deal, up until the game comes out, you can pre-order this game and get the last game included for just the price of the new game. So for anyone who hasn't played the first one, now's your time to pre-order and just get the last game included for free.
You're telling me that I could buy 2 of the 3 pieces of a 20-year-old game for the price of one game?
Damn.
I will not take this slander. Each of these games are their own games in their own right.
Damn.
That said, I'm actually really concerned about what they're going to do about carrying over character progress from the last game. Because there is a very clear character progression all the way to the end. And I don't know if they want to start the game exactly where they left off. Or if we need like a...
We're not getting character... We're not getting
I thought there is.
Guaranteed.
I don't think so. It's going to be like a Mass Effect style thing where like some stuff might move over, but like you're not getting your straight up one-to-one character loadouts in the next one.
Oh yeah, no, because anyone starting fresh for whatever absolutely brain damaged reason would not have. Maybe that's why they're bundling it. Maybe they are going to start like at a halfway point. It's not going to be like a new game.
It's very much not part. It's not remake part 2. It's very much a separate game that's part of a 3-game trilogy.
Oh my god, that's so lame.
It's fine. The first game was very fun. The progression was great on it, and I was very concerned what they would do about the whole concept of this. You have a bunch of maxed materia going into the 30%.
Freeman, are you telling me that this is Nomura's best series?
Bro, Nomura doesn't have a best series. They're all shit.
What do you mean? You said this is great.
Oh yeah, this is great. This when the third one drops, I'll give my final review on whether this is Nomura's actual
so in 10 years, we'll all get to talk about.
Yes, just in time for the remake of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the remake of the Kingdom Hearts series.
Jesus.
No, we're never getting that. We already got the HD remaster. That means no remake. But anyway, the problem is it's coming out in February, and that's the same month as the Persona 3 remake. So now I'm so conflicted because in addition to this trailer coming out, Persona 3 has just been releasing trailer after trailer. There's a new one every 4 days showing off new shit, including the soundtrack, which has the whole fan base divided. Anyone worth... I don't want to finish the sentence. Anyone who's knowledgeable about the Persona franchise and watches like the concerts where they usually announce new games knows for a fact that the singer of the Persona 3 soundtrack has aged a lot since 2003, and her singing isn't quite where it was before. So they got a new singer for this game, and everyone's just up in fucking arms that this person sounds remotely different than a different singer. So, Persona fans, just keep being shitty. They're just salty about every time there's new news about this remake, and the trailers look phenomenal. And I'm conflicted on which one I should be playing first. All I do is deal with just people whining about random bullshit about this franchise. Persona fans are so ungrateful.
No. Just remove Persona fans. Or just remove Persona from that.
fans are ungrateful.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a more accurate statement.
Man, I'm just so happy this remake is even happening. It looks beautiful. Like it's like I think when I finished Persona 5, I wouldn't show it was the most stylish game I'd ever played. And Persona 3 is like upping 5 style. Like it's I did not expect them to go this hard on a remake.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking to be good. But talking about remakes that aren't good, but I might play now that it's coming to PC. Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which is like a straight up, let's take the actual real Final Fantasy VII. Let's not adjust the story in the slightest. Let's keep the overhead camera that we had and port it to mobile, but then also put in weird gacha mechanics that aren't necessarily necessary to complete the game. It's seen weird. I tried out the demo. It was great. The problem is I legitimately do not have room on my phone for this. It was like 1.2 gigs for the demo, which I downloaded and maxed out my phone. And then it's like, we want to download 8 more gigs. I'm like, well, tough shit. Like, I don't have 8 gigs to download. I guess I'm not going to play any more of this. So I didn't. But they're doing a Genshin style where it's released on PC and your account is shared between mobile and PC. So I might give it a second shot because it seemed fun. That said, I really do not want to spend money on a Square Enix gacha game. As much as I love this company and don't want to see them fail, I absolutely do not want to reward Square Enix for their money-grabbing nonsense, especially after what they did with that NFT game that I think may have gotten deleted because of how bad it was.
Oh, it's not on the show notes, but speaking of deleted, you guys know Creative Assembly, the guys who make Total War games?
Yeah.
I'm aware of that franchise.
Yeah, never played the games then.
That's fine. They were apparently Sega had was making them release a looter shooter or something, and it got hard. It's not on the show notes. It doesn't really matter, but it got hard canned, and now they're doing layoffs. Even though the Total War games print money because no one does anything like them at that quality level, but apparently they were being forced to do this shitty looking shooter that they put out like a trailer and then the project got canceled. So just throwing that out there. Just because we're talking about idiotic moves in the industry. We can keep going. Speaking of idiotic moves in the industry.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Keep it rolling.
Oh, fucking, have you guys seen this?
I saw one picture. I haven't seen more than that.
Fucking Mortal Kombat 1 has been getting really good reviews. Unless you're in the Nintendo Switch world, where this shit looks like a straight PS2 game.
Hold on, let me look this up.
Dude, it's bad. It's so bad looking.
I thought you guys were just going to talk about the fact that in the first trailer for the Switch game, a Steam achievement pops up during the footage.
No way! I didn't ever saw that. That's amazing.
Yeah, like they didn't even use Switch footage for the Switch trailer.
That I didn't know. That's fantastic. That's hilarious.
Holy shit, this is terrible.
Yeah, it's they are not even the same characters.
It's so bad.
It's really funny. But
it feels a lot like the era where like we're porting it from PS3 and 360 over to Wii, and this is what it would look like.
Basically, yeah. So Mortal Kombat 1 came out, and I'm sure it's like the biggest fighting game ever, even though everyone who plays fighting games says it's like the shittiest fighting game in the world. But it's the popular one, so it sells well. But yeah, the Switch version does not look like the same video game.
Dude.
It is real bad. There's not much else to say about it, honestly.
Other than it just looks bad. I just wanted to bring it up just because
crap.
Yeah, it looks really bad. I just thought it was funny.
Seriously, it looks like a different video game.
I mean, let's be real here. The Switch is a mobile device from 2015. It's a miracle that it's even functioning.
Did we talk about how there's been like maybe not leaks, but like more seeming like confirmation or leaks that we are going to get a new Switch model next year?
I did hear some about that.
The problem is I don't trust Switch leaks. I've heard that the Switch Pro is launching this fall for 6 years in a row.
Freeman, I think the Switch Pro had leaks when we were in Ohio, because I have a vivid memory of rounding the corner from work near my house in Ohio, listening to a podcast going, maybe when the Switch Pro comes out, I'll finally get a Switch.
All right, hold on. Let me look this up, because I remember when the Switch OLED launched, that was the year that everyone was dead convinced. So when did this OLED release date? When did this come out? Oh, this is 2021, so more recent.
Oh,
anyway,
if it was 2021, then I wasn't in Ohio.
Well, no, what I'm saying, at least 2021. There's been every single year, but it's been going on since before then. Either way, Switch is pretty much at the end of its life cycle. We've seen, especially with the last couple directs. I don't think I talked about it last time, but Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is getting remade for Switch. And
oh yeah,
a majority of Nintendo's announcements have not been new games. A lot of it is re-releases or enhanced remakes of older games that are still Switch exclusive.
So Friedman, I don't know if this is like a common thing online, but one of the main podcasts I listen to these days for gaming news, they brought up that Nintendo always does this, where near the end of a console's life cycle, it's just remakes and re-releases to fill out the console, while all the new stuff is being prepped for this next generation.
Yeah,
that definitely seems to give credence to the idea that we are heading towards even just a Switch 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I'd bet hard money the next console launches next November.
Do you think... Okay, here's an actual question for you guys. Is there any chance it's not just a Switch 2 and is not backwards compatible? Like, are they going to do something totally different, or are they going to be like, the Switch is selling so much, we should just make a Super Switch and make it backwards compatible? Or is it because it's Nintendo, they're going to not do that because they can always squeeze more money out of people by reselling the games full price?
It's interesting because Nintendo has jumped around with this philosophy on backwards compatibility. Like GameCube up to Wii was backwards compatible, Wii up to Wii U was, and then Switch was a hard cut. But they saw a lot of opportunity in being able to re-release failed Wii U games on Switch because of its larger install base. The question is, when it comes to Switch 2, you don't have that, well, we now have a bigger install base. You're arguably going to have a much smaller one because Switch was so successful that I don't know if holding off on backwards compatibility so that you can release games is going to be as financially rewarding as it was in the Wii U to Switch era. So, I don't know. I think it might be a selling point for them to be like, you can play all your Switch games on this thing.
Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree. I'm just saying Nintendo loves to do random-ass Japanese out of 10 business move shit every once in a while, so like they could just swerve into some absolutely wild move like that, in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, with their handheld market, they've literally, ever since the Game Boy Advance, they've always been backwards compatible to a certain degree. DS obviously dropped it in the middle, but like 3DS was always compatible with DS.
Mm-hmm.
I'd bet money that A, it's coming out in November, and B, it's backwards compatible.
You think in a year?
Yeah, I think next year. Nintendo has nothing coming out.
I guess that's possible if we hear about it spring of next year. I can see that.
Like, the second I saw Pikmin 4, I'm like, damn, we really are at the end of the life cycle for this console. Yeah. And I say this as a Pikmin fan.
Which is funny because
Let me
Pikmin
just shit
is
on
like,
myself for a second
Pikmin
here.
was
Pikmin
a release title for GameCube.
Yeah. And surprisingly, it's like the best-selling title for Switch this year in Japan, like consistently. So they're eating up.
Wait,
Franchise
really?
is alive again. Yeah.
That seems... Tears of the Kingdom came out this year.
But everyone got it at launch, and no one has bought it since, whereas Pikmin 4 is getting consistently bought month over month.
Oh, so you're saying like the most... Okay, I thought you were saying
most
most
since its release,
sold.
it stayed at the top. Sorry, no, not the largest number. I'm just saying...
Okay, that's what was throwing me off. I thought you were saying largest number. I was like, oh, that seems impossible.
Like Pikmin 4, not in its release month, beat out Armored Core 6.
That's crazy. Man, Armored Core. There's a series I'd love to get into someday.
I do want to, especially when I saw all the different like custom robots people were building in it. Some of them are just wild.
If only that failed Gundam Overwatch knockoff had instead been a collab with Armored Core.
Gundam canceled another live service game. I don't know what like who's gonna play the next one if all they do is cancel them within a year.
I didn't actually mean to bring that up. YouTube recommended a video yesterday about that canceled Gundam Overwatch clone. And I was just like, man, I have not played a Gundam game since the PS1 when I played Gundam Battle Assault 2. I have not played a Gundam game since then.
Damn.
Or no, I played a little bit of that Gundam Dynasty Warriors game. What was that one called?
I don't know.
Wasn't it just like Dynasty Warriors Gundam?
Maybe. I think I played like one of those for like a demo. That's how old it was when demos still existed.
It's just Dynasty Warriors Gundam, and they had like 5 of them.
Anyway, speaking of shit with the Switch, because half of this is Switch related. So somehow, since last podcast, there's been drama about both KOTOR games, which is amazing for a series that hasn't had more than the 2 games 15 years ago. So the Switch related one. So KOTOR 2 launched on Switch earlier this year, maybe. And part of the marketing said, hey, we're going to put this game out now. We know everybody's aware that this game is unfinished. What we're going to do is at a later date, we are going to release this game, or we're going to update this game with the unofficial, with the, oh my god, what is it called? KOTOR 2 Restored Content mod. That's the most famous mod, like, in the entirety of KOTOR. You do not bother playing KOTOR 2 at this point in your life without it. And they said, hey, we're going to put this out on the Switch. We're going to build this into the Switch version so you can actually finish the game. And the game comes out. And then like 3 months later, they're like, actually, here's a refund code. You can buy any other Star Wars game on the Switch store with it. We're not doing it anymore. So now there's a class action lawsuit. Because people are saying you advertised this all over the place, that this was going to be a feature. I don't care about getting a refund code for another free game. I wanted this game on the Switch because you promised this feature and you took it away from me. I don't want... This is worthless money spent now. So, I don't know how it's going to go. I wish... man... God, this series... If this series was just rebuilt from the ground up with all the content it had, you could make the biggest gangbuster seller ever. But instead, Sony took down the remake trailer for KOTOR 1. And everybody goes, holy shit, this remake really is dead forever. And then Sony comes out and goes, no. Our licensing for the trailer music is just running out, so we're taking the trailer down everywhere. And everyone goes, oh. So the remake really is in trouble.
Yeah, right? Oh my god.
And it's like, no. It's still being worked on. So clearly the remake of KOTOR 1 is somehow going horribly. I don't understand how you can do that, but whatever. And KOTOR 2, the only release of one of these 2 games on a new console managed to completely fuck up. So yeah, it's been a rough year to be a KOTOR fan somehow. I don't understand how that's possible. But they managed. We did it, boys. We're in the worst timeline. Just crazy. I don't get it. I don't know how you can do this with KOTOR. Yep. I don't know how it's possible. You could just give it to the... Oh, man. Imagine if Larian Studios got a phone call. And they were like... It was like, hey. KOTOR?
Hey, KOTOR?
Baldur's Gate plus KOTOR? You know?
Damn.
Baldur's Gate, you know, they took a BioWare franchise and they made a new one that's really fucking good, apparently. They could do the same thing with the KOTOR franchise. You know
they're really good, though. They really could.
They should. Lucas should be at the phone. Should be making the phone calls, but nope, they're not gonna. Too many easy good ideas.
Too many easy good ideas.
No, instead we'll give it to the guys who haven't put out a solid version of this game yet. But whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Actually, before we switched, there was also a funny headline. Apparently, in some internal documentation, Microsoft was calling. Like this came out right before Baldur's Gate was supposed to come out on Xbox. Apparently, some internal documentation from Microsoft way back before they ever started. Baldur's Gate started seriously moving along. Was Microsoft calling Baldur's Gate 3 like a Stadia level RPG?
Oh God!
And then when that came out, Larian was like, "Well, could you blame them?"
Damn.
But I mean, it kind of makes sense because like, what's Larian supposed to do? Like, as their game is about to come out on Xbox, be like, "Nah, fuck Microsoft. Yeah, they're idiots. We're gonna cancel our release on Xbox for Baldur's Gate." Like, no, you're not gonna do that. So that's just wild. That was just a little headline I saw. But speaking of, I don't know, lots of little headlines, I guess, because that's always what's in this section.
Yeah, then I guess it's just time for the Weeb shit. So,
featuring Discord's brand new built-in soundboard technology.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't cut off sound. Unfortunately, I'm limited to 6 seconds here, so I can't play long songs. I'll play goofy shit, including...
Yeah, you can play...
Yeah, whatever I want. And I'll play one more later on when another relevant anime joke comes up. But we'll talk about some of the weeb shit that's happening. Some of this is interesting, some of this isn't. First and foremost, we're approaching the 10th anniversary of that time I got reincarnated as a slime franchise. Mostly the manga, not the anime. I think the anime is only like 6 or 7 years old at this point. The point is, to celebrate 10th anniversary, we're getting a 3-episode OVA that, according to the press release, is releasing on streaming platforms on November 1st. Since Crunchyroll is like the almost exclusive streaming holder of this, I can assume on November 1st we're getting all 3 of these episodes.
Would hope so.
In most of the press releases, they don't confirm if it's canon. They don't confirm where it's supposed to take place in the timeline. I'm assuming it's this like vague time period after he's a demon lord, but before anything new happens.
It's only anime.
Either way,
anime that's like this. Why Why can't you just be normal?
Either way, I'm hoping we get some movie quality animation in, because that was definitely what saved the movie from being just filler.
It's very, very useless. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a nice short one. Next one, Tim. You want to take point on this one?
Sure. So, hey, remember like 10 years ago when Miyazaki was like, guys, I'm like turning 80. I need to retire. And then like a month ago, he put out his most successful movie ever with literally zero marketing. And it was like the biggest movie Japan has ever seen.
Jesus.
Big shock, everyone. Miyazaki has announced he's 86 and still won't retire.
For fuck's sake.
What did I see? Headlines. As soon as Boy and the Heron came out, he was hounding like some publisher guy or someone he works closely with. I forget where I saw the headline or the interview snippet, but it was like, yeah, he's been really wanting to do this one project for a long time. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean at this point?
I'm like dead convinced. Like this is not meant to be like a morbid joke, but like if Miyazaki keeps up this trend, like he's going to die during the production of one of his movies.
Oh, it's guaranteed.
I can't imagine the kind of turnout you're going to see for like the final,
literally
Miyazaki
the last movie. Well, yeah. I don't know. Freeman, was the Boy and the Heron already that?
Damn.
Did everyone just assume that was actually going to be the last one? Because he couldn't possibly at 86 keep going.
He's got one more, and I'm not going to steal it.
Oh my fucking god. Can you imagine if he manages to put out like 4 more movies from now? Like, just imagine he makes it over 100 and he still is putting up like he has 3 or 4 more in it.
On his 100th birthday, he's like, I'm considering retirement, but we'll see after my next movie.
Every Blu-ray publisher who has the rights to his movies has all of the supplemental material ready for the when Miyazaki dies, the Miyazaki collection. Like those have been built for 10 years.
But like I'm pretty sure Disney owns the rights and they're god awful with their Blu-ray releases.
God.
Those investing in those boxes up till now is like when people buy the James Bond box sets. It's like, what's the point? There's a new one coming out in a few years and now your box is going to be stupid.
Yeah. That said, I'm starting to see, after years of saying, man, my anime Blu-ray collection is pointless, why am I collecting these? Now with everyone like fighting over streaming rights and shit, it's starting to make more sense to collect the stuff you actually really like on Blu-ray again.
Well, that's why on my shelf I have like, I literally have Violet and Gundam Wing Blu-ray, and then like I think, where are my movies? Shit,
I got offloads of my old ones that I don't actually enjoy.
I have almost no Blu-rays, but like all the Blu-rays I have, I care about a lot. So yeah, no, I agree. But also, part of it is that Miyazaki's company got 40-some% bought by one of Japan's largest TV networks. It's not so that they have that's what it is. It's not so that they have a controlling interest. They're not trying to take control away from him, but they're trying to start setting up a path towards basically finding his replacement, apparently, because this was all like drama related to it. But basically, for most of the kid, he's probably like 60. Jeez. Miyazaki's son was supposed to be taking on his role, and it's clearly not working, apparently. This is all hearsay from articles I read. But, so they are buying the studio in the hopes that they can start working towards building a post-Miyazaki future. And find someone who can kind of take the reins. So, who'd you make the joke about earlier?
Makoto.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably up there in terms of popularity, but he's not like he's obviously not with the same production company, and they want to keep that production company working.
Yeah, but so who knows? I mean, Freeman, have we heard anything? I don't think we've heard at all when Boy and the Heron might come to the States.
I'm trying to think, because with all Miyazaki movies, I'm pretty sure they always go through Lake Buena Vista release. So I'm wondering what the
Wait, what?
Aren't they usually the distributors? Like, that's why all the Miyazaki movies have like this like actual Hollywood actor dub cast, because Disney's responsible for it.
Wait, they have October 1 showing at the Lincoln Center in New York on October 12th. But that feels like it's got to be a special thing. That can't actually be an American release.
Sorry, I'm just checking because the last movie he did was Wind Rises.
Never saw that either.
But I'm just trying to figure out who released. Yeah, Walt Disney Motion Pictures released it in the U.S. Through Touchstone Pictures. Never mind.
Oh my god.
Buena Vista.
All right, so we'll see it next year, or when Tyler gets it on Plex.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, so that's God.
Anyway, moving on. Let's get some disappointments out of the way here.
Yeah,
so, Misfit of Demon King Academy came back this season to restart its airing, just for none of us to watch it because we were all just fed up with it. And then it ended, and then out came the big reveal that season 2 is not a 12-episode show. That's just core 1 of season 2. Core 2 is still coming out, but it's definitely totally been delayed to an undisclosed date in 2024. And the big joke I saw on Reddit is, okay, well that's when it starts, but when is the season actually going to end though? Because this season had like it like if we'll shit on Zom 100 later, but like not just Misfit, like by the time episode 6 rolled around, they'd already had 2 delays and had already confirmed in advance like we're not airing after episode 7. Like they told us this before the last episode had aired, so they knew well in advance this is a shitty production. Given that they're delaying to 2024, maybe they can turn it around. I'm gonna be honest, it's not the production committee that's killing me on the show. It's just the plot progression and just the way they change the main character. If I finish the first core, I'm probably not watching the second core. Not gonna lie.
I will finish the first. I owe it to the show. As much as I was getting frustrated real bad, I owe it to the first core, to the first season to finish the first core. I dropped off when they started having all the production issues and other shows came up. But frankly, this anime season was so shitty and nothing that until this new season really starts picking up steam, I still don't have much to watch. So other than us starting Frieren, which we'll talk about.
So I'm gonna say something you might not like here, but there's always an anime I'm watching that I like to hold on to a show that I just genuinely don't care that much about, and I feel okay looking away from the screen when I'm watching because I try to watch during lunch, but I keep getting interrupted by work shit. Currently, the Vending Machine anime is holding that spot because let's be real here, you really don't need to pay that close attention to that show, and I wouldn't watch it otherwise.
Freeman, no, you don't even need to watch that show.
I need a show that I don't care about to eat up the 20 minutes while I'm messaging coworkers because they won't let me eat lunch.
This is the most targeted, specific need for an anime show I've ever heard in my life.
Which is
you
why
could just watch something on YouTube.
I could.
Yeah, why are you giving this thing power?
That's what I mean. That's what. See, Tyler gets it now. Like, what is the point of saying I am another viewer for the Vending Machine anime?
Because I need to watch it so I can give a proper review on here.
No,
because
how are you going to give a proper review when you're not even watching it then?
This is bigger than the show. I am watching it.
Bigger than the show?
But I need a show that I can look away from it for a second to respond to a message and not miss core details that are impacting my real, true viewing experience. And I'm going to deliver a grand speech when I'm done with it, maybe by the time we record the next episode, about why the show is unique and more importantly, why it shouldn't exist, but will still have its own spin-offs in season 2 because
we really are in the worst timeline between KOTOR and this. Like,
I'm not. My grand speech isn't why it's good. My grand speech is why is the industry where it is and why
Freeman,
does it fucking suck.
You don't have to do that.
I have
no one
to.
is charging you to do this.
Listeners, leave comments explaining why I need to review the isekai.
No, man. No. I hate it here.
See, Tyler gets it.
I hate this fucking.
Look, I'll
fuck this podcast.
No. Hold on. Speaking of hating it here, who else hates it here, Freeman?
Everyone who works at Mappa hates it here. So this one came out. So I am behind on Jujutsu Kaisen. Unfortunately, I literally haven't met up with my other friend group that I watched this show with in so long because just people.
I'm behind on everything. What's your?
But it's to absolutely no one's surprise. Mappa is running a madhouse here. they recently rolled out that they wanted to make everyone who was already working on Jujutsu Kaisen sign an NDA about the work conditions, and most of the people said, fuck that noise, I'm just going to complain about it on Twitter. Oh. So a lot of the shit is out in the open about just how mismanaged the Jujutsu Kaisen release schedule was. And Nappa's doing everything in their power to try to cover this up. Yeah, it's disheartening to hear that it's absolute shit there, because Nappa is really pushing it. Like, everyone, they have the reputation that they're pushing the anime industry, and it's just like they're not pushing it correctly if this is a very consistent issue on their biggest name projects.
You know, maybe it's a good thing that Vinland Saga wasn't their biggest name project, because that show was fucking perfect, and we avoided all this shit with Vinland Saga.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there wasn't a single delay on that show, too. So, like,
just
I'm wondering,
perfect, pure 24 weeks.
I would kill to know what was going on, like if they had planned in advance, or if there were problems, just no one complained about it, because Jujutsu Kaisen is obviously like way more high profile. And
that's
probably,
true.
I'm not going to say that Vinland was animated poorly or anything, but I'm going to say there was probably way less demand episode over episode. Like, there were a couple key episodes where there was a lot of crazy shit happening in Vinland, but a lot of episodes there wasn't.
Instead of keyframes, there was a lot of disgusting hand shots. That's the difference.
That one dude who's really good at drawing hands.
Yep. Leslie was, so we caught her up a bunch on Vinland over the weekend, and she was really not happy with that Torfin falling down.
Oh,
the whole episode with all the hands. She just goes, ugh.
All right. Let's move on and get out of the Weeb shit. So,
wait, real quick, just because I don't want to touch on it in the watch section, because we're in the middle of the season. Val and I are up to date with Jujutsu. I don't know if it's just the animation, but like this arc was supposed to be the hypest arc of the entire series by a lot, and so far it hasn't really been. It's good. I'm glad Jujutsu's back, but I don't know. Maybe it's just that the season is weak. Maybe I'm being more jaded about anime than I was when I watched Jujutsu, but it's definitely not hitting as hard.
All right, I'll go in with tempered expectations, because all my manga reading friends won't shut up how this is the arc.
No, that's what I mean. Everything I saw on Reddit was Shibuya Incident. It's the great, craziest arc. It's the best arc. Like, it's certainly good. There's definitely been good moments. Don't get me wrong. This is still one of the better shows airing. But we'll get to it in the watched. This is definitely not my show of the season. I know this is like a split across 2 seasons, but this was not my show of last season, and if Frieren's as good as you seem to be setting it up for, Freeman, it's probably not going to be the show this season.
I really hope. I don't want to overhype Frieren, but we'll get to that. But last thing, I think all manga readers are just brain dead, is what it is. Like, we've heard them complain that Farmland Saga was going to be bad. We've heard them hype up Shibuya Instant. I've heard them. They wouldn't shut up about how the My Villain Academia arc was going to rescue the anime. Like,
it's almost like it's a totally different medium with totally different people, other than a base framework for how the story goes. And it's a totally different setup.
But speaking of adaptations changing everything,
yay!
Netflix came out with 2 trailers for 2 animation projects that they're coming out with.
One is good.
One of them...
Damn.
You're not, okay.
I just said that to get a little pain out of Frieren for a second.
Here. So there were 2 trailers, one of which... only had a single, what I'll call, cut of animation.
Literally.
Literally like 6 seconds of showing what the animation was like, and it was Devil May Cry.
Fuck yeah.
For anyone who's out of the loop, way back when, I think it was Studio Madhouse, back in the mid 2000s, did a couple of video game to anime adaptations, including like Halo. They did Devil May Cry, and they did some other game, and all these adaptations sucked. So having a new Devil May Cry anime is very interesting.
This has got to be hype off of 5.
Yeah, especially because Netflix original animation projects so far have been pretty decent. Not gonna lie.
Also, this is the guy who originally created the Castlevania adaptation.
He's doing Devil May Cry.
Yep, the Adi Shankar, I think is his name.
Ari Shankar, yeah.
He has not been part. I think he had drama or something, and that's why he might have been off Castlevania on the newest stuff. But he definitely was the guy who originally started the creation of that Castlevania one, and he is doing Devil May Cry, so that's pretty sweet.
All right, then the second one, The Disappointment. So I was beyond hype for this, but I love the Scott Pilgrim
Disappointment.
Franchise. But they came with the trailer. It was just, I think, like a minute and a half of just like the first episode. not the first minute and a half, but there are two key concerns I have. Well, if I'll say the good thing is the character designs are on point. It looks very much like the original comics.
It looks like motion comics. It is crazy how close they went.
The problem with it, though, two things. One is the actors are all over emoting. It's a little annoying, and I'm hoping it's just from the clips they picked and not the whole show. And then the second problem I have with it is, and get ready for it because you've heard me complain about low frame rates in shows before, but like the mouth flaps are so slow because of the frame rate they picked, that like it just looks like a bad lip sync from the audio dubbing.
I forgot about this.
How few mouth flaps there are.
I forgot about this and didn't believe you when you told me and Val this when we were watching Nocturne, which we'll get to. But man, you're not kidding. These do not line up with the audio at all. And when it's English, especially, it is, or no, even in Japanese, they usually make it match. It's just reading the subtitles. But in English, this is not even close, and it looks weird.
Yeah, like even when voice actors dub into anime, a lot of they'll notice like if the character ends on an open mouth or a closed mouth, you have to kind of match whatever sound they were during that shot. With this, it's like a character will have 3 flaps for like a whole sentence, and it's just it never lines up at all.
Tyler, you should try to watch this trailer while we're talking about it, just to see.
I'm hoping I'm just getting the Scott Pilgrim Netflix trailer that came out. That's just like a minute of footage. And I know I'm overly nitpicky about this shit, but like when I first thought it was hyped, and then the second time I saw it with you guys, I was like, damn. That was not as good without the hype first impression. And now that I'm looking at it in closer detail, I'm getting a little annoyed with this. But I'm watching the shit. I love Scott Pilgrim.
Man, it looks pretty good.
I mean, it probably is going to be fine. I'm just being overly nitpicky.
Oh, Edgar Wright's also producing this?
Yes.
Or he's executive producer credits on it.
Anna Monoguchi's doing the soundtrack.
All the cast from the live action is doing their roles, which is cool.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, it has the formula of it being good.
Yeah,
it has no reason to be bad. Man, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Oh yeah,
bro.
Oh yeah, I already know. You don't have to finish that sentence. I agree with you 100%,
bro.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
I don't want to linger on this too long, or I might have to leave the podcast. Anyway, real quick, new anime season starts this week. There's a ton of random new things coming out. I've watched a couple. The big takeaway is, much like last season where we said the only thing coming out is sequels, once again, it's just a fuck ton of sequels. We got Spy Family, Shield Hero, Goblin Slayer, Eminence and Shadow, Dr. Stone, Tokyo Revengers. Maybe not watch that last one, but there's a lot of shit in here that has sequels. I don't know if I'm going to have time for all of it. I might have to just selectively not watch. Not gonna lie, I might not watch Shield Hero. I might not watch Goblin Slayer immediately, depending on how my schedule looks. But the others actually may not watch Tokyo. Yeah, so Eminence, Dr. Stone, and Spy Family.
So you're talking about the 3 good ones. Yes, I will definitely be watching Spy Family, Eminence, and Dr. Stone. Eminence coming back. I can't
I'm shocked it's coming back so soon.
Oh, so happy.
It's going to be good. But anyway, that's it for the Weeb shit.
Filling the misfit hole. Also, Frieren started, but why don't we just go right into that with watched and played Freeman, because you watched the Frieren movie to start us off for the season.
Well, hold on. I was going to have us close out the stuff we've finished and then do the new stuff first. But we'll go back to back. This will be real short. Jobless Reincarnation finished. We're getting a second core. It's coming out in 2024. I don't think they've disclosed the date. I personally loved it, but I really liked the whole character arc. It was super obvious that the first 4 episodes were written at a different time frame than this whole school arc was, because it was just way too stupid in the middle. But I really loved the last 3 episodes. I thought it was really cute romance arc to a show that kind of needed it at this point. Overall, I loved it. I don't think that this season was as good as the previous season. I think I rated it 1 point lower. I still enjoy this very much, but I don't think it. I think the problem was that season 1 was this very big, like, we were going to explore the world, and season 2 was very much we are going to a high school. And while it didn't fill in the normal anime bullshit high school, it was still stuck at a setting that didn't really feel like it had a lot to offer.
In some ways, it was worse than a typical anime high school.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, Freeman, I meant with like the locking girls in his room and like.
Yeah, you need to watch more anime. And know there's a lot worse out there. Anyway, the point is, the second core should go back to the we're on an adventure formula. So I'm definitely expecting to pick up, but I wouldn't say that this core was the high point of the franchise.
I know it hurts Freeman, or Freeman gets mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to watch the last episode, but I think that's mostly just so I can mark it as done on Mal. But I I'm probably off the Moshoku Tensei train.
Understandable.
Unless
if you're not liking it, don't force yourself to watch it.
I trust me, when I watched earlier this year, when I had COVID and I watched all of season 1, I was able to look past Rudy exactly like you said, Frieren, because the adventuring and the world building was so interesting to me, and the relationships and the characters were so interesting. None of that has sparked the same thing with me in this new season. And I genuinely don't just think it's Rudy being gross, even if that was a big problem. But
I think I understand what the difference between you and then me and Luigi is. You wouldn't watch a show for a waifu, would you?
Absolutely not.
All right, that's the difference. We are not the same.
Sylphie is not a draw here.
Damn. Damn.
Funny enough, Eris kind of was. But she was interesting. She pushed the plot forward. Sylphie doesn't.
And yeah, understandable.
We could argue about this forever. I think, look, I'm not going to rate it a 4 or 5. It still looked great. It still was done, a very good production, but Rudy has just decided to be a gross character, and I just have to live with that and not.
I have to
going.
live with that.
I have to live with the fact that the cool world building, hunting down all the people lost in the explosion, just is not a priority anymore, and that's fine.
Anyway, that's it. Since you're not going to watch the second season, after you finish the finale, the anime strategically cut out a scene that makes Rudy even worse, and I can't wait to tell you about it. All right, moving on. Let's talk about something you enjoyed, Tim.
Oh, loved. So Castlvania Nocturne came out last Thursday, and by Sunday night, Val and I had finished it, and Frieren only didn't because he had to leave because it was 11 o'clock, so we finished it yesterday. Boy. This show is better than season 1 of Castlevania, but it's not quite as exciting as the later seasons, only because we're still behind on episode count with these characters, I think.
We definitely need some more time to learn the level of the cast.
There must be a season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne. It's not a maybe. And this is not Val holding a gun to my head, although I'm sure she's listening outside the door waiting to
He's holding the gun through the door.
No, but like this was definitely same exact thing as the first season of the original Castlevania, where it's like, hey, here's a test thing. We put more money into it and it's a little more developed, but this is definitely a part 1. This is not a closed story. Yeah, it's a closed arc, but it's not a closed story.
You couldn't even begin to make the argument that the ending was conclusive.
No, you couldn't. That being said, I feel slightly less attached to these characters because I think they recognized that they should get more time instead of it being a test case where they might not. And they threw a little more in there than I think they needed to. Like that. Frieren, you know what I'm talking about, right? There was that scene where all 3 of us kind of went, this seems sudden and out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, like minor writing quips aside, I know there's a lot of drama around this show, which is really depressing. All this, like, I don't even want to get into it. There's so much shit online. Not so much, but there's...
Is it about all the gay people? Is that what?
Yeah, the gay people, the slavery, the whatever. It's... Whatever. Isaac always talked about that shit, like slavery and everything. That was always a thing, so I don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah, why is everybody mad? This has always been a thing.
Tyler, I wish I knew. Those people are all so brain dead. None of it came across as aggressive to me. Honestly, the only thing about the gay couple in this show is that it seems also, again, to be a romance that comes out of almost nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it because it was gay.
It's fast, not because it's gay.
It felt too out of place for the characters involved. It was just kind of like, why is this happening right now?
This felt like, you know what it feels like, Frieren? It feels like they're not sure where they're going to go with the next season. So they're like, we need to close this small arc right now.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating. But that's the kind of writing stuff that means this show is not a 10 out of 10. That being said, this is one of those 8 out of 10s that is so important to watch and is so much fun. Tyler, I can't wait for you to watch this. This is another case of I would rewatch some of these fight scenes and some of these moments, these dialogue moments, any number of times. Just like when, like at the end of season 2, when Sypha, Trevor, and Alucard attack Dracula's castle and the music kicks in and that whole fight in the hallway. There are multiple moments in this show like that again that are just so good, so exciting, so cool. Magic. Nothing does what Castlevania does in terms of making magic fluid and dynamic. Nothing feels like this.
It's giving Avatar: The Last Airbender a run for its money with some of the firefighting animation.
Like it is so intuitive what these characters are doing. It makes so much sense in the moment, and it is so exciting to see. Oh my god,
Oh my god! So
but even
off on air.
Sorry, I'm not. But like, it's really fun to see because like in anime, like Moshoku Tensei, we're talking about that. Like, Rudy is good at magic, but it's always chanting and casting spells and like, oh, you're the greatest ever. But seeing a bunch of people all really good at different magic that is just very fluid is exciting.
Yeah, we don't need to shit on Moshoku just to talk about how good Castlevania is.
I'm not shitting on it. It's different, but it's not a lot of things do it like this. In terms of the studio, because I know we talked on this show a while ago, before Castlevania Season 4, they did that Blood of Zeus show that looked like shit. The team has definitely upped their game. There were some moments Freeman and I would like discuss a little bit during the episode where there were definitely some shockingly well animated like close-ups of characters or like small moments that were really weirdly well animated. And it was really cool. I don't know, Freeman, there were definitely times where we looked at each other and we were like, wow, that was really smooth.
Yeah, there were some sequences where I could tell that it was CG, but I would notice that it was very difficult to tell because they're using some type of weird image layering effect. And I'd almost want to rewatch this show at like 0.25 speed for some of the action scenes to figure out like what techniques they're using to create this. Because it's definitely a lot of weird shit behind the scenes. They're doing a great job of masking what they're doing.
This would be
from
cool
an animation perspective, it was great. I don't want to make everyone think that we love this show 100%. I do have a single complaint I want to voice about this show. I don't particularly like Richter's actor. Something about his delivery just never quite feels genuine, and I couldn't shake the feeling by the last episode. Hopefully he just grows into the character, but I'm really not digging him as the protagonist.
I didn't feel that way, and it's not because I thought the show was great. I don't know if I didn't feel like he was super forcing it or anything. I think he's the only thing I would say is maybe he's acting a little more almost like aggressive because he is noticeably more hot-headed than all the other characters around him. So he comes off as a little more forceful to me, but I feel like that's maybe intentional in my mind. Like everyone else seems to be very calm and reserved most of the time, and he's not that. Maybe that's part of it.
It feels off-putting. Like there'll be a scene where just everyone's being very serious, and like even his character will have a serious face on, and the actor's got just like a little bit too much snark in what he's saying. It's not necessarily supposed to be something snarky. So that kind of rubs me a little bit.
I will say another funny thing that you brought up, Freeman. This show's audio balancing, once again, a lot of whispered dialogue. It's really weird.
Like, I want to meet the guy who mixed it Netflix so I can punch him. Like, I
the
don't
mom
know how
character.
Doing this.
The mom character. My daughter. She's gotta keep her safe. Like,
oh god,
it's really weird. You can understand it, but this is one of those shows where subtitles are almost borderline, like needed for certainly some people. Like, you don't have to be hard of hearing to really need subtitles.
Like, it's not as bad as Castlevania Season 1, but like it's still pretty bad.
But yeah, overall excellent. Loved it. Definitely not perfect, definitely got problems, but still can't wait to see more and very excited for you to see it and be able to talk about it with you, Tyler.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna try to watch it this week though. It's just been it's busy. I also had to work last Saturday too, so
yeah. No, that's fair. Freeman,
I like video games.
Yeah. Freeman, why don't you bring up a thing that you and Tyler can talk about?
Oh yeah, it's time to race into the new anime season with the Initial D sequel / reimagining Oh my god, this plays for too long. MF Ghost.
What happened to 6 seconds?
Which, as we all know, stands for motherfucking Ghost.
Hell yeah, brother.
MF Ghost takes place in the same universe as Initial D, but it's a little further along in the future. The premise of it is with electric vehicles taking over, no one drives gas cars anymore, and they've been kind of relegated to this street racing scene where it's like a professional street racing scene where it's just people are bringing in whatever car they want, and the only rule is that there's this weight to grip ratio. So like more powerful, faster cars can race, but like they have to use thicker tires that grip harder, which may reduce their maneuverability, speed, whatever. So this kid shows up and he's racing in what is a Toyota 86, not a 1986 Corolla. He's racing in like the
brand new 86.
Yeah, like the Scion 86, whatever the fuck it was. And I'm not gonna lie, like the premise, the author of this manga is not great at creating original plot lines because the setup of the show is exactly the same as Initial D. This kid shows up in an 86. He goes to race in the scene with a bunch of people who've been racing for a while. He's got this love interest girl. He's got the senpai who's also in the racing scene who's a little too cocky, but he's not that good. He's got the guy maintaining his vehicle who used to drive the 86 that he's now going to drive. They don't have a race in the first episode, just like the original Initial D. It's very much like a one-to-one comparison of like if you had to reimagine the core concepts of Initial D, but just get the next generation to want to watch this as opposed to like being nostalgic for like the early 90s underground racing scene, this is how you would try to do it. So I really think this is meant to be like an entry point into the Initial D franchise for people who are unwilling to watch the original anime because of how dated it looks. That's what I do want to give it another episode before I start pushing you guys into watching it. But the one thing
I'm still going to watch it anyway, so...
The one thing I find really interesting is they had to prove to the audience, like, we are going to have Eurobeat in this franchise. So the episode ends with him lining up for this qualifying race. And as he's lining up, so he's literally just pulling out from the garage up to the starting line, they start playing a Eurobeat song. And it's not a new one. This one came out, I think it was like a year before I started really listening to Eurobeats. This is like maybe 2010 this song came out. So the fact that the first song they go for is kind of like a relatively deeper cut on modern Eurobeat tells me they're pulling from some Eurobeat classics for this one. So we may get some good songs as opposed to just only new shit that might be hit or miss.
I hope so.
But I'm excited. I've been listening to Eurobeat nonstop since Saturday. So
I legally can't listen to Eurobeat if I'm driving.
Oh, it's a problem. I started speeding today listening to it. Like it's a real issue.
Isn't it magical? Like you start listening to Eurobeat, next thing you know, you're going 90 for some reason. You're like, wait, hold on.
It's actually terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild. Tim, you should try it sometime.
No, I'm good.
But MF Ghost, very good. It also
I have a baby in the car sometimes.
Damn. Well, that's how you. Never mind. I'm not going to spoil Initial D. Anyway, moving on. The other show I watched, I wasn't able to watch all of it in one sitting, even though the first 4 episodes came out as like a sort of movie. Realistically, it's straight up 4 separate episodes. I think they just broadcast them together in Japan, but they don't really need to be watched all as one. I would definitely recommend watching episode 1 and 2 together, but I'm talking about Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. So the loose synopsis of this show is it's about this elf girl, and I'm talking like Lord of the Rings elves, like long-lived elves. And she goes on this 10-year adventure with this hero's party to defeat the demon lord, whatever. See, episode 1 starts at the end of their adventure where they've already defeated him, and it starts at the celebration and how they're all just going to go their separate ways. And the first episode, like 50 years passed or something, and she just notices that her whole party just aged. One of them is like going to die pretty soon. He's pretty old, and the story explores the idea that these elves with long-lived lives, for them, like, seeing a human is like seeing a dog. Like, it's going to be here for a part of your life, but it's not here for all of it. And she learns very quickly that she really needs to appreciate her time. But it's told from the perspective of someone who she's going to live for thousands and thousands of years. For her, a year is meaningless. So it's an interesting perspective that we finally get to see, like, this fantasy tale about the elves, but it's like from an elf's perspective of living a long time in a fantasy world. And it does take the same concept of like Moshoku Tensei's big traveling story arcs. It has a really cool, like, visually magic system, and the soundtrack has just been banger. I don't know who's doing this one, but they're going all out for it. The first 4 episodes are out. The director, like, I think in the next episode they should call it episode 5, so it's supposed to be treated as 4. I definitely recommend just watching the first 2, and then you have a good idea of whether you're going to like the show or not. But overall, very enjoyable. I think purely just because of the whole elves thing, Val's going to love it. But like, so far it hasn't hit a single like anime trope. It's been a very fresh fantasy show in a world of generic isekais.
Fucking isekais.
It's definitely the one new show that Val and I are really excited to pick up. I'm definitely interested to see where it goes. The premise sounds really interesting, and Val's a huge elf fan, so
yeah. Again, don't listen to me praising it and think it's like the greatest show ever. I think it's a good show and it has potential to be even greater, but I think it just had a strong first couple episodes.
It's the 6th highest show on Mal for the season, and it's the highest new show.
Don't get overhyped. Go in with an open mind.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that it's still behind 5 sequels.
Yeah.
Also, you missed Paladin as a sequel. That's probably Val's like
I forgot that show's
most excited show.
Anyway, the last bit of detail I want to say about Frieren is it's not split core. We're getting straight up. First they said 24, now it's 28 because they're treating the first 4 as one broadcast. We're getting 28 episodes this season. So, very nice.
Damn, finally an anime willing to commit to half a year of release. We haven't seen that since Vinland Saga.
Or just a studio committing to 6 months of work.
Yeah, true.
All right, Tim, tell us what you watched.
Yeah, so Val and I finished My Happy Marriage.
Which I think they announced season 2 for, right?
Correct. As soon as season 1 ended, it's not one of those it was in the show, but they immediately announced season 2 is coming to Netflix eventually. Overall, it was pretty good. It definitely started stronger. The first half I definitely think was stronger than the second half. I connected with this show pretty early because Evan Call, the guy who did the Violet Evergarden soundtrack, came and did this soundtrack. So there was definitely hints of that music in there that made me a little more interested. And it's definitely a good, wholesome show. The only goofy part is when they try to make some action in it and make some tense moments, and they're pretty not. The animation really is not much to speak of when the few action scenes they do have.
And guess which composer is doing Frieren?
Oh shit, Evan.
Yeah.
Let's go. Him or Gigux guy, Kevin Pinkin, who did Made in Abyss. Those are the 2 big ones for me these days. It's basically if you took Tony Kawa and you made it have a little bit more drama around the whole thing and made it have actual magic and not in modern times. I know that's a lot of steps to take, but it does come from a premise of like establishing a relationship, and there is a quote unquote happy marriage in the show.
Impossible.
So I don't know. It's nice we were talking about like high school shit before. It's kind of nice to not have that. Like there is a little bit of like quote unquote real adult life to this, but there's also definitely some anime tropes going on here. And by the end, I kind of downgraded it a little bit. If you're looking for something wholesome, I definitely still recommend it. No big problems there. I gave it a 7, which is the same thing as I gave the little short season of Tonikawa. That's actually above Heavenly Delusion and Gundam. So take that for what you will. But overall, it was just a fun, decent time. It's on Netflix, so it's a little easier to binge and watch than some other anime sometimes. But yeah, overall, it was just a decent, good, wholesome romance experience with some like, I don't know, there's magic shit going on, and it's all kind of weird. But again, first half was really, really pretty darn good and exciting. Oh, and then this is just funny. I think I've literally talked about this on the podcast because the last time I watched this was when we were doing the podcast, I think. But Val and I have been working on our 100 movies poster, and I randomly decided to throw on The Truman Show the other night because it's one of the only movies that it feels like is available on a streaming service anymore.
I haven't seen this in like 15 years. How's it hold up?
Oh, it's still great. It's faster. It's faster than I remember it being. Like he starts noticing stuff within like the first 10 minutes of the movie is when weird stuff starts happening. Yeah, I think it's a super well done, super self-contained little story that's really good and is honestly pretty relevant today. It's kind of funny that you could almost see something like this happening these days with how much reality TV is this weird distorted reality thing. like what were we talking about the other day? TLC and like the History Channel are all just like Freeman. We were talking about this when we were at CBS the other day. How all the TV channels are just shitty reality shows now. It feels like one of them could try to do this these days. So it feels weirdly relevant potentially. I still love this movie. I don't know what it is. This movie just clicks with me on many, many levels. Like the humor in it, the story, what happens in it. What the hell? Sorry,
what the hell?
I opened Letterboxd to check what my review score was, and I saw that Rachel watched Alien today.
What the fuck?
She gave it a 4-star too, so that's good at least.
Oh, she better reverse. We would have had words.
Yeah, I gave it 4.5 stars and a heart on the Letterboxd, so I liked it a lot. I don't know. I just still really, really enjoy this movie.
I remember loving it. I just want to watch it again and see if it still holds up.
You should. It's one of those. Honestly, Freeman, you talk about wanting to have things to throw on. This is the kind of movie you can throw on and like half pay attention to, and still super just follow along and enjoy the
Appreciate
moments.
The good scenes.
Yeah. Oh, God. And then the last thing I'll talk about is the most depressing part of the anime season.
And that's the last anime thing we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, I know. The top show of the past anime season, by a lot for me, was Zom 100. The show that only finished animating its opening for the final 9th episode before pulling an uncle from another world and disappearing into the void until it inevitably randomly airs its last 3 episodes after re-airing the whole show sometime in the middle of next year, because fucking Japanese time slots on TV.
Damn.
This show was awesome. I don't know, Freeman, how much did you watch?
So I think I'm either 5 or 6. Not that I'm not enjoying it. I just didn't rapidly catch up to it, and especially when I started hearing about delays, it was my cue to catch up on other shows and pick this up. Intend to. Yeah, I saw 6, so I still need to watch the last 3, and I'm going to.
I know I talk about it. Basically every season, I know I talk about the 1 or 2 shows that Val and I would watch every single. Like Vinland Saga was the show every time Monday we were eating dinner on Monday. It was time to watch Vinland Saga. Bleach ain't that show. Moshoku Tensei, Jujutsu even weren't that show. Happy Marriage and Zom 100 were those 2 shows this last season for us. Zom 100, we both had so much fun with. It had so much style. I hate to start talking about Spider-Verse again, but a show that uses color and exciting animation, unlike a lot of other shows these days. Opening is just fun, especially with the finished version. It's a hilarious dance number with zombies. It's almost like a baby Thriller kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's not over yet. I'm really sad because I could easily see after this arc that there's no way they're going to finish. The whole premise of the show, Freeman, you know this at least. The whole premise of the season of the show is the main character in episode 1 is working literally a mind-destroying Japanese businessman job in an ad agency. The zombie apocalypse happens. He is thrilled beyond belief to be free of his work life. And he starts writing in a journal the 100 things he wants to do before he becomes a zombie. And by the end of the season, he's probably only going to have hit like 40. And that's like writing down 40. That's not even doing 40 things. He's only come up with 40 things by the end of this season, probably. And I mean, you can't drop that premise. So, the main cast, ton of fun. There's some random flex moments of animation, like when he was fighting the shark thing, Friedman, the zombie shark.
Oh yeah,
that was a random flex that was like My Hero levels of punching.
That flex is what caused them the first delay.
It probably. Yeah. This is my show of the season, even though it's unfinished, and it's sad that this is following in the footsteps of Uncle 86, because we all forget that 86 also had a delay.
Yeah, I think there was some irony
about
how they were concerned about overworking the animators to draw a show about how bad it is to work at a company where they overwork you.
Yeah, well, they managed to overwork them apparently and still not beat it, because there were there were episodes that we are airing on TV in Japan on Sunday, but we're not releasing to streaming until Monday for whatever insane reason. Like, literally the most down-to-the-wire production issues I've ever seen out of an anime, even in this post-COVID era.
And one of these days, I got to trick you and Val into watching the anime Shirobako, which is about anime production. Because there's a whole episode about, like, we need to hand-deliver these tapes to the studio because it's supposed to air in 45 minutes, kind of plot lines.
It's insane.
Damn.
All right, Tyler, why don't you take us back out of the weeb shit?
Into some normie shit, because I feel like I've just been doing nothing but normie shit lately.
Yes.
Yeah. I like thought of all the anime that I need to watch, and I was like, damn, I really need to like catch up on everything. It's just not as convenient as like.
Yeah, because Michelle's not into it.
Everything. Well, no, it's not even just that, because like I've been watching like most of my stuff on Plex, and like there's just been like a few shows here and there that like we've been watching that isn't anime, and I'm like, yeah, it's just not as readily available at the current moment, or like totally convenient. Fair. It's like a conveniency thing where it's like, you know, I have to sign in or like find it, right? Which like I guess for all intents and purposes, I won't reveal my sources, but like, you know, I could get to it, right? But it's not as easily in reach as like some of my other stuff. So I guess that's like part of the reason why. Also, like I have to focus on it because I have to read subtitles, and it's like. For some things, like Loki, for example, I wasn't fully like, you know, looking at Loki. I guess I could talk about that because I just mentioned it. But like, that was a part of the reason why I watched Loki. I was like, I'll catch up, right? Because Michelle wants to watch the second season. She's like, was on the fence about it. She's like, oh, we could watch it. Like that was the kind of mood she was in. She's like, we have no other new show we're watching after Ahsoka. So, like, let's just watch it, right? I'm like, all right, fine, I'll catch up. It's only 6 episodes. So, like, I throw that on while I was, like, working in the office or, like, whatever, right? I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything special. I kind of liked the visuals of it. But, like, all it pretty much did was just set up the whole Kane the Conqueror thing, and that was basically it.
Yep.
Yeah,
and introducing cool other Lokis.
Yeah, the cool other Lokis. Like it was like the premise was okay. Like I definitely didn't hate it. But I definitely didn't love it either. I thought it was just like okay.
It was one of the last even decently good Marvel things, it feels like.
Yeah, you know, I can agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. Like I don't think it did anything to overstay its welcome, or like I don't think it did anything like super eye-rolling. I think the only thing that might be considered eye-rolling, but it was totally within character, is like the whole love interest with like Loki loving himself, basically, just a female version of him. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like the idea of that is kind of funny. I'm like, that's some shit that he would do. He would be in love with himself, but a female version of himself.
That does seem on brand.
It's on brand. That's why I was okay with it. I was like, that's kind of funny. But yeah, like I thought it was whatever. I guess, you know, I'm gonna go down to things that, well, because I really liked that. I don't know where to start else. I guess I'll go down from the show, and then I'll go down to the movies. I'll start off with the thing that I didn't like. Michelle and I watched Blue Beetle the other day.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking ass.
You were really not high on it at all when you came over the other day.
So, like, we were talking about like just stuff in general, because I forget how we brought up like Kung Fu Panda, but like we were talking about like just other movies, and she's like, "You never seen Kung Fu Panda?" I was like, "No, like it's never been on my like radar."
Oh, this one. Oh yeah, this trailer looked decent. Was it not good?
Oh, Blue Beetle. Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Damn.
Dude, we even thought we thought like, dude, it's so bad. Like even the most like remotely like the remote character was like okay, was the main character. He plays Miguel in Cobra Kai. I know that's a show that no one else watches with me. Oh no, I think Leslie started watching that.
I want to get into it. I just haven't started it.
And it's funny because I think I even mentioned this before on the podcast, but like I don't even like Karate Kid, and I think that Cobra Kai is a really good show. It has better character arcs than Blue Beetle, I'll tell you that. After really dissecting Blue Beetle, like we always see like the hero's journey and how they start out, right? The main character really has only one goal, and that's to get more money for his family. He doesn't have any real problems or strife. It's just that his family's poor, and he just wants to make more money. So what does he do? He obtains his goal by getting with a really rich girlfriend by the end of the movie. That's his arc. That's his struggle. That's it. Yeah, does he gotta fight some shit? Yeah, it's all because of her. Because she got him into it. But guess what? If you go over and you do all your trials and everything, you too could get with a rich girlfriend who could buy you a brand new house and a brand new car. That's it. So yeah, Blue Beetle was ass. I think I gave it like a 1 on Letterboxd.
Damn, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, 1.
Like 1. Yeah, that's a miss.
Letterboxd
highly
is averaging at 3.1.
Yeah, it's a miss. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm giving DC shit a shot anymore. Like, was it Michelle wanted to see Flash, and she's like, she went in with neutral expectations. I didn't think it was gonna be good. I didn't realize how abysmal that was gonna be. I didn't though. I will say, what was worse? I think Blue Beetle might have been worse. Yeah, Blue Beetle was like really bad. Yeah, I don't know. DC can't do shit. DC can't even fucking keep a hold of Fables. DC is so bad that the author wants to give free reign to his IP. Like, Jesus Christ. They can't do comics right. They can't do movies right. They can't do shit right.
Yeah, it's not looking too hot over there.
No, they can't do shit. At least Marvel, like the Marvel stuff, like comics, like they're putting out still somewhat decent stuff. Even movies, it's like passable. At least it's passable. Right? Like DC stuff is just straight up unreadable, unwatchable now. Like, it's not even in the same fucking category. Hate saying it, but it's true. At least that's how I feel about it. I didn't realize that I would turn this into a DC rant, but I totally did, and it's like fucked up. But that's fine.
I mean, good luck to James Gunn and all those guys, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna need a lot of good luck, because
if they manage to turn it around though, then these guys are gonna be legends.
I guess, but are
it's
they
a big if.
I feel like
no, they're not going to. That's why they'll be legends if they actually pull this off.
I don't want to get into it, but like, I don't know. It feels like Marvel has just poisoned the well for superhero stuff for a long time. Like, are people really going to be like, oh my god, I know we've been watching Marvel for 15, 20 years now, but I'm ready to go back into the theaters for the 5th Batman movie in a decade. Like,
yeah, no.
Oh boy, no. Superman again. I can't.
The only thing that got me to watch the third, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. The only thing that got me to watch Dark Knight Rises was doing like, this is the end of the trilogy. Like, you got to close it out here. But like, if it was open ended, I don't know if I'd go to the theaters to see a third one or even a fourth one.
Yeah, no, I don't. Can't with this shit. I'm not seeing any. Man, I don't know. Some of these, the last Batman movie I thought was pretty good though.
Still never saw it. Still have no interest.
Which is understandable. Like, honestly, like, it's like Batman's been like overdone. As much as I like Batman a lot,
I still think the last Batman's worth watching though. Especially if you had a sound system for the Batmobile sequence.
Dude, yo, for real though. For real.
Right,
and you know what? I'll say this. I think that James, oh god, what the hell is his name? The actor, I truly think his performance really truly embodies the sad boy that is Bruce Wayne. Because I think deep down, Bruce Wayne is a whiny bitch. And that's what he was meant to be. And that's what
Robert
I think.
Pattinson, that's what we're talking
yeah,
about.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I think he embodies that. I think this whole Playboy thing was kind of like weird maybe. I think this is the true Bruce Wayne.
It only worked because we had Christian Bale.
True. I think yeah. That's the thing too. I think Christian Bale was a good Bruce Wayne. He wasn't a good Batman.
Yeah.
That's my own.
He wasn't a good Batman.
But I'll say the writing and the atmosphere and like Christopher Nolan like magic carried those movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Now some bangers. I watched Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2 out of left field like picks.
Really?
And man, those were so good.
Had you seen them before? Or this is your first time?
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen that. This is my first time. And I wasn't ready for 2 to be better than 1 for me. I thought 1 was like, yo, this was pretty good. This was pretty good. And then I watched 2, I was like, yo, this is like good. Like I was cracking up. Like there were some like really good parts. I liked it. I think I gave it a 4. I think I gave the first one a 3.5, and I gave the second one a 4.
Maybe
that's impressive.
Every time I look at DreamWorks movies, I'm always like, oh, these are gonna be shit. But I realize like DreamWorks shook off that reputation a long time ago, and most of what they put out is pretty good these days.
Yeah, man. Yo, How to Train Your Dragon,
one of Val's favorite series ever.
Dude,
I still haven't seen it.
I would hot button watch that trilogy again.
All right, well, one of the Sundays that we gotta watch a movie. I know Val will be down for a rewatch.
Yeah, there's a whole mess of movies we need to fucking watch. Now we also need to watch Terminator 2 Judgment.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's higher priority at the moment.
The highest priority.
Fucking can't wait, bro. I'll watch How to Train Your Dragon. I think Michelle would join in that too. Fucking.
Val would I
want to watch
nuts.
that.
If you guys came over on Sunday, especially with Leslie and Luigi not here, if you guys came over on Sunday,
we watch How to Train Your Dragon without Leslie, she'd fucking kill us though.
That's what she gets for not coming.
Well, she might show up because she's just working that day. So if you guys came over and said, Val, would you want to do this today? She would lose her mind.
For real. Yo, all right, let's throw that out there. We'll throw it out there.
I mean, let me tell you, I'm gonna bring it up. She'll probably say, "What were you talking about?" after this if she's sitting outside, and then I'm gonna tell her, and she's gonna immediately text both of you and be like, "Guys, we gotta do this."
How to Train Your Dragon, dude. That talk about that's a banger trilogy. That was so good. And you know what? It almost makes me like wonder why I mean, because I want to watch Kung Fu Panda 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, damn, I really slept on these, and I was like, these were like really good, and I'm upset that I had missed out on them for so long, but I'm glad I watched them now. Did you know that there are like a bunch of spin-off things for Kung Fu Panda? I know there was for How to Train Your Dragon, but there was like over 70 episodes of like Kung Fu Panda shit.
I'm not surprised. I feel like some part of my brain knew that, but
yeah, it was weird. I don't know what networks they aired on, but they aired on something. But I think Netflix also had like a miniseries. I know Netflix had a miniseries for How to Train Your Dragon. But I did not watch that. Then I'll go on to the more darker side, because apparently I just like to read really depressing things.
good.
I read The Heroes by Joe Abercrombie is the next book in the First Law series that I'm just balls deep in right now. I'm probably gonna switch to something else to listen to just to like kind of cleanse my palate after this. But yeah, it was pretty good. It's another standalone novel in the First Law series. It just revolves around it. It takes place over the span of a battle that takes over 3 days.
Wow.
And it's just a whole book surrounding like these 3 separate battles over 3 days from like beginning to end. And it's just like the whole lesson is, war is bad. And that's pretty much it. Like, I'm kind of downplaying it. It's good, but I wouldn't recommend it as much as the book I listened to before, Best Served Cold, and I talked about that last time, I think. That was a good standalone book. Like you don't need to know any of the players or anything like to really get into it, and you don't need to know anything about the players or the characters. Like there's a decent amount of characters from the original trilogy, but you don't need to know any of the previous stuff to like really understand these things. Like the books that I'm reading, the series of books I'm reading right now, because I'm on the last book in these standalone books called Red Country. You don't need to know anything in particular. They're just standalone stories. But yeah, they're okay. I think Best Served Cold was really good though. But the Heroes was just okay. I like read online that like you could kind of even skip some of these books. Like they're not very important, but I think it was good anyway. Joe Abercrombie's like a stellar writer. I think his character writing is some of the best character writing I've ever like listened to or even experienced. And like even though these books aren't like, I don't know, like they could be whatever, like these last ones. Like I'm reading Red Country and I'm just like, it's whatever. It's another revenge story of his. He just writes very well, and so I enjoy it.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I finally, after taking my sweet ass time, I finished Lightbringer by Pierce Brown.
Ooh.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was good. I almost paused on it, but like no, it was good. I think you know why, Tim? Because I wanted things tied up. But the thing is, we're not like what assuages it is that Red God is gonna come out and making this a quadrilogy. So I'm not upset by it.
Wait, quick question. When you started this, you thought it was going to be a trilogy, and then it got announced to be a quadrilogy? Or... We
thought Lightbringer was like they're gonna close out this. He's gonna close out this second trilogy because the whole Red Rising thing. The first three is a very open and shut trilogy that he was originally just gonna do as a trilogy, and then he's like, nah, I'll do a second trilogy, and now it's turning into a quadrilogy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We did not know that when Lightbringer came out. We thought Lightbringer was going to be it, and then I finished Lightbringer. I was like, Tyler, I got bad news.
Here's the thing. I don't even think that's bad news. I think it's good news.
No, it's good news. But because, like I think I told you, the brother, the clone, literally doesn't show up in this book, in spite of being a very, I think, relevant character, especially to the first book in this trilogy.
Yeah, so
it feels like there's a lot of pieces still in the air.
So that's my other concern. My other concern is how like there's so many things happening. I feel like I think he might have George R. Martin'd himself.
Nah, I think that's part of why so many characters died in this book.
That's the thing. No, I don't
think about it, a lot of people died.
Not enough significant people died. In my opinion.
I don't know, Tyler. That one scene where two characters, one that we like and one that we hated, both ate it. In the hangar?
Well, what is it? So, I don't care. I'm going to say spoilers.
Which instance of Lysander being a terrible piece of garbage?
Cassius died.
The worst person.
I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, right. I was like, you ain't going to read these. You don't read.
I don't read. You don't read. I'm not cultured.
Dude,
yeah, Lysander, Cassius died, and who else? What's his face at the beginning of the book?
I was talking about Ashlord. Atlas died.
Oh right, Atlas died. Well, no, so 3 people died. Atlas died, Cassius died, and
beginning of the book.
Yeah, he died off screen.
So then
at the battle of the moon, at Phobos.
The clone? Oh, Cax?
Ajax.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Ajax died.
Well, he didn't technically die off screen. We saw him get ripped apart, which is fine.
Well, we saw him die off screen. That was on the security camera.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's not one of those classic fiction. Oh, he didn't actually die, unless it's like, oh, he actually was alive. We doctored that footage or something. No, but that's fine because he's Lysander's friend, so he should die.
True.
Lysander should have no happiness.
He should have no happiness. You're absolutely right. But that's what I'm saying though. Like, I don't think enough stuff. Like I feel like there's too many moving pieces. Like, even with the whole like treaty at the end of the book, I don't think there was enough.
I think you're exactly describing the development of this book. I think he had an idea on how he wanted to finish it, but then he was like, wait, the whole rim is right there. What happens to the rim?
I think he forgets the rim too much.
Well, yeah, because the rim is fucking. Because they don't do anything. Like, it's written into them that they are like, we try not to do anything.
And like, I'm totally cool with them but that's the thing though, because like we have a temporary ceasefire.
Yeah.
Right. Temporary alliance with the rim.
Well, we is in like the 5 people.
Yes.
Who are left.
Like
now.
The main cast is like they're together and they're against. Like, this is the web right now. They're against Lysander and Atlantia.
Yeah.
But Lysander is also against Atlantia, right? So you got this weird Mexican standoff thing. And then you got the clone out in, like, wherever the hell they are. We don't know what they're doing, where they are.
I don't know how he could possibly be doing anything serious, but it's way too big to not be a thing.
That's what I'm saying. Unless he's gonna save him for a third fucking, like, he is the same age as
Dude, he has to die. Oh my god. As much as Lysander has to die, the clone has to die.
The clone. How much you want to bet the clone's not gonna die, and he's gonna, and Pierce Brown's gonna come out with a third, like,
no, because the clone has no power. The clone has nothing. No one likes him.
That doesn't matter.
Wait, yes, it does.
Clone. The clone.
The Golds would never follow him.
I don't know. Maybe he's doing some weird shit. I don't know, man.
He never had a lot of followers. That's the thing.
Well, then what? What was the point of him? To be a fucking like?
That he's like he's like the CIA guy. He's like the guy in the shadows who causes a lot of influence. But he's like Atlas.
But you said he was too. But then what's he doing then?
Probably just. I'm not saying he won't be relevant. I'm saying he's not going to be leading an army. This isn't like Atlantia, who has half the fleet or the entire Rim contingent. Like, there's no other force that's going to come out of anywhere.
It's still a big loose end.
It is a loose end, but I'm saying big in terms of the character is big, not in terms of for the universe at large. He has the ability to, like, Atlas was one dude who worked in the shadows, but he was running Volsung Fa was his whole thing. Like, that was all of the Rim basically covered with one guy. The clone doesn't have any of that. He has his Howler ripoffs who are hanging out with him on the moon, and they did the Red Wedding version in this, the Red Parliament, if you want to call it. I forget what it's called. They said the name, I don't remember. But that was his big moment. But other than another big moment, it's not like he's going to be like, oh, I found this army, that I was hiding on the moon. Like, there's no way that exists. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm working with the, what's his name?
He's probably going to kidnap Pax or some dumb shit, bro.
Oh, God, dude, no.
That's what I'm saying. He's the same age as Pax, bro.
Kind of sad that Pax is just not in this book either. He's like, I decided to go get shaved and turn into a human robot at the Blue School. Thanks, Mom. Bye.
That is literally what happened.
It feels like he was originally setting up for not Darrow to be the main character again, and then it's like, nah, Darrow's still the main character.
I'll be real. I don't think... That's what I'm saying. So that's another reason. I totally think that Pierce Brown fucked himself. I think he George R. R. Martin himself.
See, but the fact that the last book is called Red God, you have... Like, Darrow must become like enshrined, like something crazy is still coming. That's what kind of excites me. Like, it's not. I feel like we still don't know all the pieces.
You know what? That's fine. Honestly,
which I don't know how that's possible. We've been to every planet at this point. Like, I don't know what could be left. But...
So here's my official review of Lightbringer.
Trying to piece together the plot from just these.
My opinion of Lightbringer, because I don't actually. Oh, this is how I feel. I don't feel that Lightbringer was a complete book. I don't think it was
another case
story.
No, it's like when I remember even as a kid, Christopher Paolini with the Aragon series was also supposed to be a trilogy. Then the last book got too big and he split it. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah,
Lightbringer was not supposed to. Yes, this is half of the final arc.
Because like
it's the same exact thing.
Because Iron Gold and Dark Age were complete stories. Like those were like stories. Yeah, I think so.
Darrow was on Mercury for both.
Wait, how did was he on Mercury for both?
Remember, because he goes straight from he literally is on the moon, kills the guy, and sets off the betrayal.
Yeah,
to the
he
clone.
Runs,
and then he runs. He goes
Wait,
to Earth, breaks what's his face out of the super prison on Earth, and then is like, peace. I'm off to conquer Venus with you. They do that for 5 seconds, and then he goes to Mercury because that's where the Red Legions are.
Yeah, but that's how Iron Gold ends, though.
What, with him getting to Mercury?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole book is about him trying to get to Mercury.
Yeah.
And then he gets to Mercury, loses, and then leaves. And then this whole book... But I'm saying that for Darrow, his whole arc, like you could say it's a trilogy, a duo, and a duo is kind of what we're heading towards.
I don't think it's a duo. I don't consider Iron Gold and Dark Age a duo, though.
I kind of do, because it was all leading to Mercury, and then there was like no plan after it. Now we're rebuilding.
It's a set, so it's establishing the new main cast, Lysander.
Stop, Alexander, no, little baby.
Yeah, like it sets them all up, right?
And then kills all of them.
And then kills all of them. And like, but that's the thing though. Like so you're setting the stage, right? And then the stage is there, right? Like that's Dark Age.
Yeah.
Like so like those are two different stories. Dude, like you have your setup and then you have your stage.
No, Freeman. I was gonna say, you know how in Avengers Infinity War, how all the OG Avengers are left after all the new characters get dusted? This is the exact same thing, where for the second trilogy, he's like, look at all these awesome new characters. Dead.
Dude, no, it's not even like they die in like fucked up ways too.
Alexander, so literally
fuck Lysander, bro.
Lorne's grandchild, he was so pure, he was working for the Rising, he was so on board, he was gonna carry the legacy, and then bam, that house is dead, man.
All because Lysander got left alive.
Literally should never have served. Oh god. You know, it's so funny, Friedman. Last thing, we really got to stop. We're over 2 hours now, and it's 10:30. The funny thing about this series, Friedman, they've always done multiple characters' perspectives, right?
Yeah.
In the first trilogy and the second trilogy, there's a main character, Darrow. He's the Katniss Everdeen of this series, except way more interesting and more badass. Also, gotcha. he's like a fucking space marine, so it's fine. In the second trilogy, he started setting up this other character, Lysander, as not on the other side, but you didn't hate him because he's surrounded by people who are way shittier. And then in this fucking book, Lightbringer, Lysander goes, what if I just decided to be the biggest, most self-righteous piece of shit out of all of them, and truly show that actually the whole time you were reading the other main villain's story, and you were getting to the point where he needs to be killed more than anybody else.
But he was already on the death list when he shot Alexander.
When he shot Alexander, obviously he deserved to die, but Tyler, Cassius, like, all the shit with even his friend the Blue, what's her name? The pilot from when they were together?
Oh, Pytha, yeah.
Dude, when he sends the ship back to Phobos. What a disgusting piece of shit for rebuilding that thing. Oh my god. Yeah. And then he's like, oh my god, everyone around me is so bad. And then he literally is handed a bioweapon to murder an entire race of people. He's like, this is pretty good. I should do this.
You tell me I can euthanize any race I want? I'm like, wow.
Freeman, okay, real quick. In this series, people are literally genetically set up in different castes. The whole Red Rising is Reds are like the miners. They're like literally the quote unquote the slave level almost. Then there's the golds at the top. It's a very like Roman structure, of course it is, because everything is. There is literally a bioweapon, Deus Ex Machina, that comes out of nowhere. Tyler? 2/3 of the way through this book, suddenly one of the characters who's a badass is like, by the way, I know this exists. At the end of the book, Lysander's like, do I kill all the golds or do I kill all the reds? Which one will I pick? Find out next week on Dragon Ball Z. And it's like...
yeah, basically.
And it's like, God, just the shot of the Hulkbuster armor punching Hulk in the face, except it's like the head exploding. It's like, that's what you want Darrow to do to Lysander. Just go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Like,
yeah.
God, they were in the same room, and what's his face, Tyler? The fucking Rim guy. The actually honorable...
Oh, man, that was
so
another thing when I was reading.
There's so many
I was like,
characters.
dude, there's so many fucking names.
There's
like,
so
oh
many
my
named
god.
characters. I can't. There's too many.
Like, it's as bad as Game of Thrones. Like, as many named characters. Like, there's so many.
All right, we have to stop talking about Lightbringer, though, Tyler.
Well, we didn't talk about it, like, legit. We talked about it over text. We never actually had a discussion
about it. We never sat down and discussed Lightbringer, so that's what the podcast is for, you know?
Yeah, that's what it's for, so we can gush about stupid bullshit.
Oh, also, final funny thing, though. Tyler, I know I told you this stat. There was a Reddit post right after Tyler finished Lightbringer where on like r/books Friedman talking about how Patrick Rothfuss is the second coming of George R.R. Martin because the third book in the I can't remember the name of the Wind series hasn't come out after No Man's Fear came out like 15 years ago at this point apparently. And in the Reddit thread, people were talking about authors who have written whole series since then, and one of them was the entire Red Rising 7 if it comes out before the book, the Patrick Rothfuss book, which it will. If the 7th book comes out, the entire 7-book series of Red Rising will have come out in the time since that No Man's Fear book came out.
Yeah, I hate it. I fucking like. It's ridiculous. And you know what's hilarious? So you got because I thought about that. I'm like, you know what? Red Rising came out, and so did like a whole other trilogy of like First Law and like a bunch of
Brandon Sanderson. Stuff. I think we talked about Tyler. He's put out like 15 books.
I have his page up of bibliography. Let's see. Let's start with 2011 because I think. Let me check.
No Man's Fear.
Oh, Wise Man's Fear.
Wise Man's Fear. Sorry.
When did that come out?
March 1st, 2011.
Okay, so we'll start at the Alloy of Law, the first Wax and Wayne book, because it also came out in 2011. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 in his whole like regular novels, like for his Cosmere, and then he came out with all of Skyward. So Skyward's gonna finish. So he's finished. So the Wax and Wayne series, that was a quadrilogy, and he's about to finish up his Skyward trilogy this year. And he released 3 Stormlight Archive books, which are about like 900 to 1200 pages apiece. And we're not gonna forget the 4 books that he published for his Kickstarter that came out this year.
Oh my god.
And that's not including all the other short stories that he did. All right, you know what? I shouldn't be comparing because like
he's a machine.
Brandon Sanderson is he's a weird, like, every author who comments on him is like, yeah, no, he's just unnatural. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you don't see like you get like a few of them. Like, you'll get like him or like Stephen King, and that's really it. Like, you don't really get a lot of people like that who will just like write and write and write and write.
Anyway, enough about books. Tyler, you have a few more things, and then we really gotta go.
Do I have a few more things? Oh yeah, Barbie. I watched Barbie. It was meh.
Sad. Fair.
Yeah, I know everybody's not like happy about it.
It wasn't enough for you.
It wasn't enough for me. I remember when it ended, and I was just like, man, I just wasn't a big fan of it. And like Val just looked over at me and she was upset. And I was like, I told her, I was like, it's partially your fault.
Me or hers?
No, hers.
No, hers for hyping it up.
She hyped it up too much. But like, even if she didn't hype it up, I feel like I would have felt the same. Like, it just didn't hit home with me.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. People were like, oh, is it because like it was geared towards women? I'm like, dude, I watch a ton of shit that's geared towards women. By the way, it's October 3rd. I hope everybody gets that reference.
Full Alchemist Day.
Yeah, but it's also another thing.
That reminded me also, Frieren, Kill la Kill, 10 years.
It's on Mean Girls Day, too?
Our anime.
Oh, I was quoting Mean Girls.
Yeah, Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah, I also saw that all of Mean Girls is on TikTok now.
Yeah, because it's October 3rd.
Oh, is that why? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's today's
date? Do you not like Mean Girls?
I have not seen it as much as apparently everyone else in my generation has.
I fucking love that.
He doesn't even go here.
He doesn't even go here.
I don't even go here.
It's not my fault to have heavy flow in a wide set vagina.
What the
Dude,
all right, we're watching. All right, after Terminator.
No. We have much better movies to watch. No. We have much better movies to watch.
What? You can't.
Mean Girls is a banger.
That's a banger, Tim. Fuck you.
Tyler,
2 out of 3 members of the podcast.
Tyler, don't even tell me that we're gonna watch T2 and then fucking Mean Girls as if they're
Yo,
close.
that's the Barbenheimer of.
Oh my god, you guys are.
Dude.
I'm sorry, the Barbenheimer of our generation.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't wait. Yeah, I'm down to do this.
Psycho.
That's fine. But yeah, I thought Barbie was okay. I get why people liked it, but I also don't get why people liked it that much. Like, I legitimately don't. Like, usually I could find, like, be like, yes, this is...
See, I just
like,
thought...
honestly,
See, for me, the two big things were I found a lot of the humor funny, and I thought Ken was just such a blast to be around. Like, I think Ryan Gosling stole the entire movie by a lot.
I was like, this being said, that was the most acting I have ever seen Ryan Gosling do in a movie. And he was, like, actually good, because I don't think Ryan Gosling's a good actor.
You have brought this up.
Usually he's just Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, he's literally just Ryan Gosling, and I thought he was good in Blade Runner 2049, because I'm like, oh, this is literally a role built for him. Like... You know, he doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to do anything. It's just, like, there. But, like, he actually acted in Barbie, and I was like, wow, he's actually, like, pretty good. And then the one line, all right, I'll admit, like, I have to bring it up at the beginning of the movie because I literally was choking.
Oh, boy.
You were there. You saw me.
I was the one who wasn't there, remember?
Oh, right.
You guys watched it because I was at that Eagles concert.
Sorry. So it's right after the first musical number. And she's like, "Do you ever think about dying?" And I lost it.
I was struggling to breathe after
that was
said.
That was like one of the most like on-time jokes. And like, you guys know how I feel about like just out of left field, like super strong jokes like that. Like, it fucks me up.
Yep.
And that was a good one.
Yep.
Like, that was by far, like, that is the scene I will remember most. It's that, like, it was that, and then it's the one meme, every night is boys' night. For some reason, both of those things just, like, resonated with me, and I was like, these are great.
I need to pull the movie back up just to get a screen grab of that with subtitle and make that our icon for the boys chat to finally get rid of the Spider-Man villains.
Oh yeah,
every night is the boys waiting for the pizza rolls to come out of the oven. That meme is so ancient. I can't believe it's been our group chat icon for so long. That's been
our icon since that. God, I feel like I remember being somewhere.
Colossal Con.
Yes.
That was my God,
we were in Ohio. Yes.
I still think this is iconic. I need to retrieve this image.
That's right. It's the I always just recognized the villain. I forgot it was the looking into the microwave.
Yeah, that's why it was relevant at the time because we used to kill those.
That's right.
Yeah, if you search me and the boys pizza rolls, it's the first thing that's on Google.
Fuck.
Oh man, is that it?
No, that's it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we're good. Let's close it out here.
Oh man, with me and the boys looking for pizza. All right. Well, we spent 2 hours and 7 minutes, literally the exact half runtime of the podcast, is watching play this week.
Gotta start doing timestamps for this shit, I'm telling you.
That's fine. No, we don't. It's basically just half Lightbringer and then half everything else. It's fine. Oh, and also Castlvania. half Lightbringer. All right, but until next time, thank you all so much for listening. My name is Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
Just Tyler.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.